It's time to tend to business, and who better to talk to than Dennis Domzalski, the shining star reporter guy over at Albuquerque Business First. Good to see you, Dennis.
Hey, good to see you guys again. It's always a pleasure to be here. I just wanted to let you know, on that diamond, I was $27 short.
Oh man!
And I couldn't get it.
Oh.
So what the hey,
so close.
Yeah.
You'd have made some lady very happy.
But hey, $27 is $27. I didn't even have change in the couch cushions to cover up. You can imagine I'm depressed.
Sorry.
I can imagine you are.
Oh man, that's amazing to me that the diamond went for that much. I didn't think diamonds really sold as much as they used to.
Yeah, they're pretty valuable. Very, very nice. Okay, hey Dennis, we were having a conversation before we went on about, and what people have to know is that New Mexico has a health exchange website, and then it's connected to the federal Obamacare website, which is, as we know, a mess. How does that affect us?
Well, if you're an individual trying to get coverage, you're out of luck because our website is directly linked, meaning the individual portion of it is linked directly to the disaster that has been the federal website. So I've been chatting with people, watching them on Facebook, 9 days trying to log on to this thing, and they can't.
Oh my gosh.
One fella finally did, but he said his insurance was going to be $200-300 a month more than what he has now for comparable.
For an individual?
For an individual.
Oh my gosh.
For comparable. And in many ways that makes sense because this whole thing is designed for the uninsured and the underinsured. So prices for people in the higher income ranges, if you will, are going to go up.
Yeah.
Those who don't make a lot of money should be getting some deals on first-time insurance. But right now, I would wait. I would wait another week or so to see if they can fix this thing. If you're an individual, if you're a business, it seems to be a different story.
What I don't understand at the federal level, I don't know, is pride getting in the way here, or politics, or both? They got to admit that this thing isn't working, and try Plan B here.
From what I've been reading, they don't have a Plan B. And apparently, they didn't test this thing. They were warned. They were warned about the volume of people that would try, crash their servers. But apparently, from the things that I have read, the code is all screwed up. In other words, it doesn't work, and they may have to start all over if they can't sort of plug in some fixes to this thing.
Well, the people who are applying now, that wouldn't take effect until January 2014, correct?
Correct.
So they have some time to kind of fix the bugs.
Yeah, I mean, you would
and
like to
glitches and
think
all.
that they can get this thing fixed within a couple of weeks. But this thing should have been working near perfectly.
Right.
They had 3 years.
Yeah. If you're a business, you're not going to put up with, you're going to test things before. You're not going to just go out there and hope it works.
Yeah.
So it's a true disaster. The other thing, there are about 45 to 50,000 people here in New Mexico who currently get low-cost insurance through something called the SCI. It's called State Coverage Initiative program that was developed in the early 2000s for low-income people. They, by law, have to be moved to the exchange by January 1.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
If it ain't working, they can't get moved.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's a big deal. Now, a lot of them will qualify for Medicaid, but it's just a mess. The bright spot I do want to mention is that on our exchange, in New Mexico Health Insurance Exchange, the small business portion, or what is known as SHOP, is run by the state, not state government, but it's run by our exchange.
Right.
That appears to be working pretty well. They've signed up more than 600 businesses, about 1,300 employees so far. And I had one fellow, small business owner, call to say that he was going to save about $1,000 a month on insurance. Don't know if that's for comparable coverage.
Yeah. But that's his anecdotal evidence that it's going to.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's move off of that.
Sure. Depressing news, right?
Yeah, really, indeed. It's really kind of interesting the business environment right now. I still talk to small business people, and they seem to just still be in this state of suspension and hold, and let's see what happens next. Are you feeling that too?
Oh yeah. I mean, it's been this way for 4 years, 5 years. Particularly here in New Mexico. Obviously, as in any state, the vast majority of your businesses are small businesses. The credit crunch still exists.
Right.
Regulators are still hounding banks. They want them out of commercial real estate. They basically want them out of all kinds of stuff. And these small businesses are finding it really difficult to get loans. Without capital, it's difficult to expand inventory, to expand at all, maybe even to hire more people. It's, I've never seen, and I hate to use the word, but Jimmy Carter used it and people dumped on him for it, but there's a malaise out there. There really is. I just don't think people trust anything in it. They don't trust the federal government, and it's they can't get credit. What do you do?
Yeah. Well, so there's an article about how Wells Fargo's actually they're up right now, and we were just having this conversation. Is a lot of smaller banks are trusting small businesses more. They seem to be loaning more than the big banks.
Well, when it comes to small business lending, places like Wells Fargo are giant, humongous corporate entities. Yeah. There is no local decision making, and every loan application gets sent somewhere back wherever the headquarters are.
Right.
And if it doesn't fit perfectly into a box, you don't get it. The smaller banks out here, the community banks, it's a relationship business, as they say. So they can look at you, and if they know you, okay, they know that your balance sheet might not be the best. Whose would be in the past 4 or 5 years, right? But they'll say, okay, we'll give you this loan, despite, and that's how small banks compete, because they can do that. But they're under pressure too to not make loans. It's pretty tough out there. Very depressing.
Tough times.
Yeah.
I know you in the office at Albuquerque Business First. You're always looking for bright spots, and there are a few. And in fact, Tony and Guy had a great opening over the weekend. There are some restaurants are doing good. The development of Windrock. I mean, we're all looking for happier stories, aren't we, down there? And
yeah, of course. And anytime you get a local business opening, and it's wonderful, and it's as it should be. It's just we wish there were more of them. We wish there were more stories like that. The other thing is that and in the news business, you can get into a glum mindset. And you can actually lose track of reality. So I'm glad you mentioned that, because despite the fact that this economy is still in the tank, we haven't just dried up and gone away. I mean, Albuquerque still exists. Businesses are still out there. And many of them are doing well. So it's always on the fringes of the economy that things sort of collapse in these recessions that we have. Trains are still running, barges on the are still plying the Mississippi filled with coal. So the economy, it's just not an afterburner.
Right.
It also seems like a lot more people are actually starting new businesses on their own now. Times are kind of tough, and they're like, well, this isn't working out. Maybe I'm going to start my own business. Maybe this will work out better.
Yeah, those downtimes are always a good opportunity for people. They may have lost their job.
Yeah, it's a function of the job market, too.
Absolutely, and you got to do something. You just can't sit around. And that's always a good sign. I always, I do fall into that doom and gloom thing sometimes, but you do have to be aware that when you drive around Albuquerque, you go to ABQ Uptown, you go anywhere. You go to Cottonwood, you go to Coronado. I mean, places are still in business and people are still flocking there.
I was in Uptown Saturday, and it was just jam-packed.
Yeah.
People are...
And
it's always packed there.
And, when you go to some of these local bars and restaurants,
it's happening.
Yeah, they're packed, so that's good news.
The city election, it kind of passed quickly without much of a blip. What did it mean to the business community, in your opinion?
Well, it means, at least on a local level, stability, and this is what businesses always look for. In many ways, it's difficult for a city, particularly a mayor, to really have any effect on the business climate. It's the city council that passes the laws, and the mayor can obviously sign them or veto them. But it also sends a message. Mayor Barry is a middle-of-the-road guy. He's not out to tax everyone to death, if you will, and businesses appreciate that. And they appreciate that he's not an extremist on either side. He's a very nice guy.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
He's very steady. And that's what you want.
We got to wrap it there.
Ah.
I know. You were
I
having
always have so much fun.